Bismillāh, ir-Raḥmān, ir-Raḥīm. Welcome back. I'm your host, Rebecca Ann, the Neurospicy Revert. If you followed this story, you already know my pattern. Every time I thought I'd finally found peace, it turned out to be chaos wearing a nice shirt. This chapter is no different. It's about the season when I confused stability for safety and chemistry for love. After Richard, I swore I was done with broken men. For the first time, I said out loud, I'm choosing me. Only, I had no clue what me even meant. I thought it meant freedom, nights out, and catching my breath after years of gasping. That's when I met Whitney. She was East Texas through and through. The kind of woman who could bait a hook, skin a deer, and still outdrink half the men at the campfire. A hunter, a fisher, born and raised around Lake of the Pines. But come club nights, you swear she flew in from the Bronx. Brown hair, extra long weave, gold hoops, and heels higher than her standards, and an energy that screamed about that life. We worked at T-Mobile and pretended to have it together. When she left her husband, I basically moved in. We'd hit the clubs Wednesday through Saturday, music pounding, tequila flowing. One chaotic afternoon, I needed help, and Whitney was nowhere to be seen. The regional board had listed 3 support reps, Blaze, Becky, and Will. I dialed the one that looked like they knew what they were doing. T-Mobile, this is Will. Smooth, confident, dangerous. He walked me through a demo phone issue, and when he said, anything else you need, I'm just a call away, I believed him. And Lord, did I call. First, for questions. Then, for comfort. He became my work husband, which was funny only because it wasn't a joke. When my district manager offered me a temporary to permanent promotion in College Station, I jumped at it. No history, no chaos, and a real paycheck. There was no way I was saying no. I had no idea Will would be 10 minutes away. Day 2, mid-inventory, while I was on the phone with my district manager explaining that the iPhone SE was not in the safe, I heard a familiar voice behind me. It's because it's at my store. I turned, and there he was, smiling like Sin in a T-Mobile polo. My mind screamed, don't ruin this. My body, it didn't get the memo. That afternoon, he invited me to lunch to talk about work. Olive Garden, soup, small talk, and somewhere between the breadsticks and the check, he mentioned his wife. My stomach sank. Of course he's married. And that should have been it. But it wasn't. We kept it professional for 48 hours. Later that night, I was soaking in a hotel bathtub, candlelight flickering off the water, a glass of wine nearby, toes freshly painted, bubbles climbing my legs. I snapped a photo. Not explicit, just soft, suggestive, dangerous. He replied, You better stop before I fork the shit out of you. I sent my room number. Laughed to myself, thinking, he's not coming. He's at home with his wife. And I finished my bath. 10 minutes later, there was a knock. Puzzled, I walked towards the door. I hadn't ordered anything, and I wasn't expecting anyone. Was I? When I looked through the peephole and saw him standing there, my breath caught. Every boundary, every promise, every self-respecting bone in my body went silent. He walked in with that quiet authority men like him carry, and before I knew it, the air itself had changed. When it was over, he didn't rush out. He actually fell asleep on top of the mess of sheets and covers that was once my nicely made hotel bed, arm around me like I belonged there. I kept whispering, "Hey, I don't do sleepovers, and your wife can't find you here." But he would just pull me closer, kiss my forehead, and begin snoring like this was normal. I did not sleep a wink. Staring at that door, waiting for the angry wife and door pounding that never came. By morning, I knew I was in deep. He had this way of looking at me like he saw every version of me at once. The broken, the hopeful, the fighter. And maybe that's why I fell so hard. He wasn't loud. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't trying to fix me. He just was. We'd have dinner with the kids, laugh over spaghetti and burnt garlic bread, and for a while it felt like a family, something I had dreamt of but never truly lived. He'd help with Ahmed's homework, tease me about my manager's voice, and always found a way to touch me as he passed by. A hand on my waist, a brush of his fingers across my back, something that made me feel seen. And at night, God help me, it was everything I thought love was supposed to feel like. It wasn't sweet or shy. It was heat and hunger and connection, like every nerve in my body finally understood what it meant to be alive. It wasn't love, not yet, but it was something close enough that my body didn't care what my mind thought. He'd kiss me like it was a conversation. Every touch said, "You're safe here." Every breath whispered, "I've got you." And I believed it. During the week, we worked like a team. He'd stop by my store, help me troubleshoot systems, bring me lunch just because. And on the weekends, when the kids were with family, we'd go to dinner, sneak away for drinks, and pretend the world didn't exist outside those hours. He even took me to my first drive-through safari. I remember feeding giraffes, shrieking when their long tongues brushed against my hand, and him laughing so hard he almost dropped the lettuce leaves. It was ridiculous and sweet and messy, and it was the first time I had felt carefree since before motherhood. For the first time in my life, there was no screaming, no silent treatment, no fear of what mood I'd walk into next. Just ease. Just peace. Just him. Except peace built on secrets isn't peace. It's stillness before the storm. You see, I knew about his past, at least the parts he told me. The stories of San Antonio, the danger, the money, the kind of life that sounded more like a movie script than a confession. And I should have run. Instead, I saw a man who had survived things I couldn't imagine and softened anyway. He told me I made him feel human again, and I believed him. And that was the thing about Will. He could be so terrifying to the world, but he was always so tender with me. And I ate that duality up like honey. Later, I learned the full story. The wife in Converse, the girlfriend in Petite, and the mistress in San Antonio. And then me, the baby of the group, his dirty little secret in College Station. He called us his camps. Each woman had a role. A lane is what he used to say. And as long as no one crossed into another's lane, peace was kept. At least until the mistress took a page right out of A's book from Pretty Little Liars and started sending fake texts pretending to be one of us, all of us, some of us, and trying to blow up his entire little empire. But by then, I was too far gone to care. I wasn't competing. I was surviving, working, thriving, raising kids, and convincing myself that being his piece was enough. One night at Applebee's, I leaned against him because I was cold. Two white men, seating at the bar, turned, sneered, and muttered the slur that still makes my stomach twist. I felt my face change. Disgust, hurt, shame, all at once. Will asked, "What?" I told him. He barely reacted. I said, "Doesn't it bother you?" He answered quietly, "I didn't even notice. That's a daily thing around here. I've gotten kind of used to it." That sentence hit like a glass bullet. Clean, cold, and impossible to remove. Weeks later, after leaving work, we had gotten pulled over for his license plate light being out, which didn't quite make sense to us because he had just replaced it the day before. After the ticket, we pulled into the nearest auto store and checked. The light worked fine. His crime, apparently, driving while black. Work became my refuge again, until I was terminated for unprofessional conduct. They didn't care that I was the best performing manager they had. They cared that I was sleeping with a married man. They didn't know the details, they just knew it looked bad. And when Will found out, he was livid. He threatened to quit, told them they were cowards, but the damage was done. He started looking for jobs back home in San Antonio, and I started realizing how fragile my independence still was. After losing the job, soon after, my car was repossessed. And that man stepped up in ways I did not expect. He took the kids to school, picked them up, drove me to interviews, and even let me borrow his car for work while he was on shift. No drama, no resentment, just help. Before he left, he helped me find a new job, American Freight. It was a brand new store, and I got to help build it from scratch. I was promised the assistant manager position, trained for it, bled for it, and then watched it go to a man who couldn't even count inventory without help. But I stayed. I actually trained him, and I smiled through it. Because that's what women do. We patch holes in the walls that we're never allowed to own. A few months later, a new regional director walked in, and he asked how I felt about relocation. I joked, "Depends where." He said, "San Antonio." And I swear the air left my body. Will was moving there too. His wife wanted him home, and for a brief, dangerous moment I thought, maybe this is fate. Before packing up, we decided to make the most of what time we had. Every spare hour was ours. Laughing too hard, taking road drives nowhere, chasing sunsets that felt like second chances. It was the sweet spot between reckless and real. The kind of connection that felt addictive because it was. By July, my life was in boxes again. Will showed up, helped me load the truck, drove me and the kids to San Antonio in the heat. We unloaded, laughing, pretending the storm wasn't already forming on the horizon. For a little while, it was perfect again. Me, my kids, and the man who made chaos feel like peace. But peace built on secrets is just the quiet before collapse. College Station taught me that peace without truth is still a lie. That sometimes the people who make you feel most alive are the ones quietly hollowing you out. But it also taught me this: you can rebuild even after the 5th or 50th collapse. You can start over even when you swore you were done, because every version of you that survived deserves to tell that story. Healing doesn't always look holy. Sometimes it looks like lessons learned the hard way. But Allah never wastes pain. Every storm I survived was a map back to Him. With endless dua and gratitude, I'm Rebecca Ann, the Neurospicy Revert. Until next time, stay soft where the world tried to make you hard.